Hello, all. Good afternoon. Today we will be sharing our analysis on interim budget 2024, which was held on 1st February 2024. First, we should go through what is the final budget and what is called interim budget. As you can see, there is a differential table here, which will be given as aspects regarding the interim budget and the final budget. First is the purpose. What is an interim budget? Presented in the middle of the fiscal year, typically before general elections, which in our case will be holding in the month of July, I think so, serves as a provisional financial plan until a full-fledged budget is presented. What is the final budget? Presented at the beginning of the fiscal year after comprehensive review and consideration, represent the government complete financial plan for entire fiscal year. What is the duration? Covers a shorter period, usually few months, until a new government takes office and presents a full budget. It's a short duration budget, mainly lasting for 2 to 3 or 4 months. What is the final budget in the duration? It is encompasses the entire fiscal year. For whole financial year, a budget will come into place, which is called a final budget, like which we had in the last year in the 2023, providing a detailed allocation of funds for various sectors and programs. What's the scope of the interim budget? Focuses on essential expenditures and urgent financial needs. May not introduce new policies or major changes, as we have seen in the budget uh, on 1st Feb 2024. The final budget offers a comprehensive overview of the government policies, tax proposals, long-term strategies, includes detailed allocation for various departments and sectors. Legislative approval is must for both in interim and final. Generally, receives approval for essential expenditure to keep the government running until the full budget is presented and approved. This is for interim budget. For final budget, requires thorough scrutiny, discussions, and approval by the legislature body to ensure the comprehensive and strategic allocation of resources. Is there any flexibility in both the budgets? For interim budgets, tends to be more flexible, allowing for adjustment and modification in the subsequent full budgets. For final budget, typically less flexible. Why? Because it is for whole financial year, not for shorter period or shorter term, as it represents the finalized plan for the fiscal year, subject to amendments only in the exceptional circumstances. What are the exceptional circumstances? Suppose the government is not doing good and re-elections are there. So when the government will change, the budget will also change thoroughly. Coming to next, what were the key highlights in the budget? As we all know, the budget was short and sweet, but to go at a stretch or a short key highlights, which we will focus, it mainly talked about Viksit Bharat, and its aim to cover the Viksit Bharat will be at Develop India in the year 2047. As Modi ji says, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, a comprehensive development plan for all. And it was also discussed the trinity of democracy, and diversity backed by Sabka Prayas. If everyone do something, then everyone will become something. तो अगर सब लोग प्रयास करेंगे, सबका साथ करेंगे, तो सबका विकास भी होगा, जो कि 2047 तक इनका एम है. इसके साथ, apart from this, there was a people-centric inclusive development points which were introduced in the budget. The first was substantive development for all forms of infrastructure, physical, digital, social. Digital public infrastructure, DPI, promoted formalization and financial inclusion. Deepening and widening on tax base via GST. Strengthened financial sector, brought savings, credit, and investment back on track. GIFT IFC, a robust gateway for global capital and financial services for the economy. Proactive information management, all parts of the country becoming active participants in the economic growth. As we can see, the budget was short and it mainly talked about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and it was only based on people-centric development as a whole, not particular to any sector like technology or anything else, but as a whole, taking all of it jointly. Coming to taxation reforms now, mainly there were no new changes were there, but the highlights of the tax reforms which were there from 2023 were direct tax collection more than tripled in the last 10 years. If we compare the last 2 years data of for assessment year 2023 and 2024, the income tax department has recorded a surge in filing of income tax returns, resulting in a new record of 8.18 crore ITRs for the assessment year 2024, filed up to 31st December 2023, as against 7.51 crore ITRs filed up to December 31st, 2022. This is a 9% more than the total ITRs filed for assessment year. A drastic increase in ITR filings. Number of return filers swelled to 2.5 times. Reduction in the average processing time of returns from 93 days from 2013-14 to 10 days 2024. The faster processing of return also result in the faster refunds for every taxpayer. Mainly the shorter amounts of refunds were also given to taxpayer within a week. Even in some cases, it was seen that the refunds has come up in the bank account, mainly within 2 to 3 days also. Now, coming to tax proposals, which we had, retention on the same tax rates. There were no changes in the tax rates or tax slabs for direct and indirect taxes, including the import duties. For corporate taxes, 22% for existing domestic companies, 15% for certain new manufacturing units. No tax liability for taxpayer with income up to 7 lakhs under new tax regime. As the new tax regime was changed last year in the budget 2023 with new slabs, so the same thing by the FM was also recorded in the budget. Continuity in the taxation. There was certain tax benefit to startups and investment made by sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, tax exemption on some IFC units, earlier expiring on 31st 3 2024, extended up to 31st 3 2025. Basically, sunlight time was changed from 24 to 25. As we can also see, there was a speech of the FM which told, as for the tax proposals in keeping with the convention, I do not propose to make any changes relating to taxation and purpose to retain the same tax rates for direct taxes and indirect taxes, including import duties. The main thing which was changed and which was beneficial for taxpayer in this budget, which we call an interim budget, was withdrawal of outstanding direct tax demand. For some, it may not be helpful, but for some, it may be a burden which has been relieved from their mental stability also. What it says, from assessment year 1962 till 1963 to assessment year 2010-11, tax demands up to 25,000 will be waived off. For assessment year 2011-12 to assessment year 15-16, tax demands up to 10,000 will be waived off. Now let's understand what does it means basically, and what effect will it have. Some points which need attention and clarifications are, the FM mentioned in her speech that petty, non-verified, non-reconciled or disputed direct tax demands. If we go by words, it's not clear particularly which type of demands that will be withdrawn or waived off, whether they are penalties or normal tax demands. A normal tax demands comes when you don't pay a tax or you upload a payable return basically. But also, so sometimes after uploading a return, some interest which has been left, they also add back and give you a new demand. The penalties mostly comes when we go for appeals or scrutiny cases, from where non-filing of return or 148 return not filed, a 10,000 penalties have been put off. These type of penalties are also there, which can be also waived off. Whether there will be a CBDT notification or some circular or a written law. Why it is important? As this will have a retrospective effect. As we said earlier, it starts from 1962, the first one, and ends in 10-12. And the second one starts from 11-12 and ends in 15-16. So a retrospective effect has been given to these tax demands. Also, if a written law is there, it should be mentioned in the new tax books and tax codes. Whether there will be a submit response online medium provided. Will it be possible for the tax portal to come out with a dedicated response for these type of waiver? If yes, then how? A big question on this is that suppose if a person is having a demand from 1963 of 15,000. Now, whether an appeal is also going for the same. So whether he should only put this CBDT notification there, or like Vivad Se Vishwas Yojana when came, it has a different aspect, different structure altogether. So whether for the same will also be there for this thing which the FM has said. What relief are being given after this? Less burden of CITA. Many frivolous first appeals will get resolution, will be cleared out, thus officers having more time to concentrate on bigger ones. The small appeals like for non-filing of returns, like 271F, will these get also benefit through this? It also lessens the burden of taxpayers. Those having penalties and non-filing demands will get instant redemption, faster refunds. Why? As the demand will get nullified, there will be no outstanding demands, which will not result in adjustment of refunds. As you can see, when we file current year tax returns and some pending demands are there. So mostly we get a intimation of 245 that adjustment of demand will be there from the current refund for the older demands. So because of this, if the older demand gets nullified, the refund processing will be get more faster and the refund will be credited in your bank account more sooner. Personal visitation to AOs reduced. Manual demands for which AO visits is needed to get order copy will be reduced, hence increasing faceless ecosystem. As in prior's budget, the faceless scheme has been given immense robust. Therefore, the manual demands, which sometimes like we have seen in our like for an example, for a client which he has received a demand for 2009 and 10 amounting to 5,000, 8,000, for which he doesn't have any record. So he also need to visit AO manually and get an order copy to know why the demand is there, what is the notice of demand, and how it has been calculated. But because of withdrawal of outstanding direct tax demand, this will also get nullified, and hence low outstanding demands will appear on the tax portals. Now coming to, will budget have impact on market? Will there any impact on the market? Market here we means share market, because many of our users does trading and sell shares on equity. So I thought that bringing this into will also be a fun event. First, we go with the traders purview. For the budget day, there was all the traders who have gotten put or call. They had zero profits, I must say, because the market was always sideways. It was a moi scenario, and no one got any benefit out of it. As it was an interim budget, a short-term plan that would last for next 2 to 4 months. The election commission says it's a simple thing that you cannot make any major changes that will influence the voters because it's an election year. So there are many parameters that will they have to follow. As there was no many major changes, so there was no big move in the market, whether going upwards or downwards. Thus, there were neither more profits, but I must say there were huge losses as we have seen some stories in last 2 days. The FM also said rupees 34 lakh crore will be directly transferred to PM Jan Dhan accounts, which will be transferred to the under direct benefit transfer initiative by DPT. This will also have no impact on the market. Financial assistance will be given to 11.8 crores for farmers under PM Kisan Samman Yojana. 4 crore crop insurance to farmers and loans given to rupees 30 crores to women entrepreneurs. Again, this will have no direct impact as all this money will be given directly to them, and there is no middleman which can get used to it, and on the share market it may have any impact. The point to be noted here is the inflow of FDI has been increased from 14 to 23. It's an important thing. It has been $596 billion between 2014 and 23, which is twice as compared to the inflows from 2005 2014. Does this say anything? It's very simple to say that FDI's inflow has been increased. Also, in the last budget, our FM also said if the FDIs are also not there, our domestics are also very pro into this, and they can also stabilize the market. But it's very good to know that the FDI's inflow is also increasing in our Indian market. Coming to next points. This time, it has been talked about cervical cancer vaccination. The point to be noted here, this vaccinations was never talked about in any earlier budget. Many people in our country do not know, but it is the second most common type of cancer which is detected in India, and it is because of the HPV. Somewhere where the government is saying that health is very important. Now, the interesting thing is that the government is also understanding it is even in the budget that it's pretty evident that they are making health a priority. If health is making being a priority, the insurance sales may go up and will go up. I think so. This can have impact on the market because many um, listed companies do sell in insurances and medical policies. Somewhere, if you understand the tone of this entire budget, there has been so much focus on the Indianization. It is visible that the PSU sector will play a crucial role in the development of India. Like we have seen the last past rallies of the PSU stocks, mostly in the railway segment, the same will play along in the further months to come. Anything related to water is also have been a talk because of the blue revolution. There are many kinds of revolution in India, like white revolution, red revolution, blue revolution, yellow revolution. And blue revolution is mainly indicated to water and fisheries. The government has said that they will set up a separate department for fisheries, which will provide a livelihood to 2.8 crore people in our country. As livelihood will increase, basically, if a livelihood has been increasing, so the people will be employed somewhere. And if people have been employed somewhere, the market share of that particular company may go up because the produce will be more, the impact on the Indian market will also be more. Also, the one sector which can give the highest returns over the next 3 years is the defense sector. The defense sector has been talk of the town for many past budgets. The government has clearly said that they will invest rupees 1 lakh crore plus in research and development of the different technologies and the defense sector, which basically means the AI technology will be used a lot. Robot soldiers, exoskeleton will be used. If all these things are used a lot, then the defense sector will become very important. Coming to next, as we said, the budget was very short and simple. It was concluded within 56 to 58 minutes. And as we conclude the same thing, the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented the interim budget for 24-25 in the Parliament on February 1st, 2024. The emphasis of 2024 interim budget was empowering youth, women, developing infrastructure, supporting agriculture, promoting green growth, and enhancing the railway sector. As I said earlier, there were no significant tax announcements were proposed, with only a few necessary proposals introduced concerning the income tax and GST. You must have also heard the main changes in the ATLA, but those changes were already being focus group in the past budget. The only thing which has been changed in the budget is the timing and the dates for the same. Also, there was also something related to the LRS policy. In that, the 7 lakh limit was the same thing which that was told in the budget to 2023. But in this budget, the implementation of the same has been done and the dates have been changed, which is called uh, sunset timings have been changed for the same, in their words. Coming to a quote which is very beneficial when a budget is not according to our expectations. A nation's potentials is measured not by the grandiosity of its budget, but by the wisdom with which it allocates its resources to uplift its citizens. A less than idle budget does not reflect financial constraints, but the imperative for a more judicious, compassionate governance. As we all know, the budget here, which we talked about, doesn't had any mere prevalence or not so educational outcome for the same. The people which were thinking the budget may be haywire or will something more attractive will be given on the budget. As we all know, in the month of June and July, a new budget will be there. So interim budget will only focus on running a government particularly, not on the whole financial year plans. Apart from this, if anything other needs to ask or comment down, please do let me know. And thank you.